Well, good morning and thanks for joining us. We're sitting here with Collin B. Peterson of Collin B. Peterson General Dentistry. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm well. So this is we're in D'Iberville, and this is a brand new practice. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice.
I was born and raised here. Grew up on the Gulf Coast all my life, and I went to UMC for dental school, and I graduated in 2021. And then once I graduated, I was really just kind of searching on where's my next step. And the coast has always been home for me. So I came back here. I missed it so much while being in Jackson. Just being landlocked for so long, wanted to kind of go back and see some nice water and be close to my family. And so I started practicing here for a little while. And then I've always had my dream of opening up my own practice. And that's what led me here. So I've been in practice for about 5 years now. And now I'm at the point where I'm starting to invest in my own practice. So that leads us to here.
So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do all of this, going into dentistry and opening this space and doing, for those of you that aren't aware, this was a dental practice before. So kind of what inspired you to take this leap? Not, like I said, not just in this location, but in dentistry in general.
Dentistry in general is more than just, a profession for me. It was a calling. God placed in me a calling to serve. I have very strong faith, and that's very important to me. So to listen to God in that way and be able to provide care for others, that's exactly, what he had designed me to do, I believe. So dentistry was more than just that. It was a calling to serve. So our scripture at this office is 1 Peter 4:10. Okay. And what that scripture is it says, use whatever gifts you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in various forms. And what that means is whenever we serve, we always have, everyone has a gift. Okay. And whether the gift is, service, speaking, whatever that gift may be, mine, I believe, is service and serving others. So I really wanted to press into that gift that God's given me, and then serve my local community. And that's through dentistry. So I feel like God kind of molded me to become a dentist in a way, because dentistry is art and science. It's blended in together perfectly. And that is how I am. I have a scientific mind, and then hard to serve, but also have artistic ability. I love painting. I love working on cars. I love restoration and things like that. So
not just restoring teeth.
Right. Not just restoring teeth.
There's a whole restoration thing going on.
It's an art of restoration. I'm passionate about the art of restoration, and that is through all the different things that I do in my life. And part of that restoration, I like restoring people and their mouths. And, I think the oral cavity is a very important part of the human body to restore. So I enjoy doing that.
You mentioned that the calling to serve. And so you've served in other capacities, in other events, and other organizations. Tell us about that.
Back in my undergraduate year at USM, I started a foundation. It was a nonprofit organization called Kayaking for a Cause. And what that was, it was a nonprofit organization that provided funding for dental care for underprivileged kids. And we did that for about 3 or 4 years. And we raised a lot of money. We were able to serve a lot of children. And it was a need that was really important to me at the time. And once I started dental school right after that, I was the director of JFC, which is Jackson Free Clinic. And I was the director for 2 years at that time. And during my time there, we were able to build a whole new dental clinic there. And that served underprivileged communities as well. So we really served a huge need up there. And eventually I'd like to do that here. Like I said, serving others is a big part of, what I like to do. So that's my next step.
What is it about serving others? Specifically, we talked about the Jackson Free Clinic. There's a free clinic here. I've heard of I know of other free clinics in other spaces. None of them offer dentistry.
Right.
And that's an interesting piece of this puzzle, because you mentioned the oral cavity. There's something about that smile that it even begins to impact mental health to a degree.
It does. Well, first off, there's nothing worse than a toothache. I don't know if you ever had a toothache.
It's not fun.
Not the most fun thing. No one enjoys it. And there's a lot of fear there too. So, with that, one, people don't like going to the dentist. So there's a lot of fear involved. However, there's such a need because that's one of those painful experiences that someone can go through. So that's why I want to try to alleviate that in the best way that I can. There's so much of a need out there. So that would be a huge milestone for me at some point. That's something I'd like to do in the future, to kind of grow after we, get really established. Is I'd like to do some sort of nonprofit or some sort of, service, opportunity for people to where we can really help those in need for dentistry.
There's, I filter through TikTok from time to time, and I see people being charitable with their gifts quite often. Like it's becoming a thing. It's always been a thing. I think just now that we have the ability to see it more readily, we see more of it. And the ones that I feel that look like they're making the most impact are those dentists who see a child with issues in their mouth, and they're like, it doesn't matter if you can afford this. I'm going to make sure that you get the care you need. And it's a game changer for those kids.
We have the ability to do so much in our community. I feel like there's such a deficit there that, all it takes is just more involvement, more awareness, to really kind of show like, hey, we need to step up, as a profession and do more. And, that's why I kind of want to spearhead. I've always spearheaded that in the past to kind of spread the awareness that there's so much out there that is needed that needs to be restored.
And being able to be that vehicle.
Yeah.
Is a big piece of it.
We are all vessels of Christ, in my opinion. That's my firm belief. So God is using me as a vessel to not only spread the gospel, but also use the gifts that he's given me that I'm blessed with. So to be able to do that on a daily basis, that's why I love dentistry, is I can use the hands that he has given me to provide care for those. And that's such a rewarding experience. I don't know if you've ever seen, when someone gets, their smile restored, or they go from having no teeth to a full set of teeth. It's a beautiful thing. It changes their life. People are so insecure and self-conscious about their smile. They're so fearful of what people may think because, they may be missing a tooth, or they may not have the widest smile, little things like that you have the ability to change. Mm-hmm. That's such a unique power that God has given you. So I really love that about dentistry.
If you don't have a dentist, Collin B. Peterson General Dentistry in D'Iberville. You see that number, you see that information on your screen. Give them a call. Thanks for being with us, Collin.
Thank you.